What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with all the news after week number 1 and year number 6 of our Columbus Aviators franchise, as the Aviators began the quest for a three-peat with a week 1 victory over their division rival, the Indianapolis Colts. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings. They are also 1-0. We're starting the season off with 2 straight home games, which is good. It's good to get that momentum going early. Things really started to click for the Aviators in that past game. Our offense looked great. Curtis Harden had 2 touchdowns. We saw Sean Sutton get a long one as well. And then our defense really struggled in the first half, came out in the second half, and started making plays. We saw 2 interceptions by Tyrone Stevens. We saw 1 from Denard Jackson. Taylor, we didn't have his name called a whole lot, which is usually the sign of somebody having a good game. He's not giving up a whole lot of big plays. We did see Jordan give up a big play, but he was doing pretty good in coverage. It wasn't so much his fault as it was a great catch, but our defense really started to shine in that last game in the second half, and we're hoping that continues throughout the season. Our run game, on the other hand, struggled a bit more than we would like to see. Rodman Scott was a workhorse, probably carrying the ball a little bit more than we would like him to overall, but he did get over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, despite having a low yards per carry. Let's go ahead and see what else happened in our division. Every team lost but the Aviators. A very good start to the season in that regard. Let's go ahead and look at the league schedule a little bit. Kind of see what was going on in that week 1 matchup. See how things went. The Lions going to beat the Falcons 27-24. Another 27-24 game. The Saints taking on the Chiefs there. 34-31, a pretty good game there in Chicago. They are going to get the victory over the Buccaneers. 45-31, a shootout there in Pittsburgh. They will get the victory over the Cowboys. Denver and New England, a rivalry with new quarterbacks, and 34-23, the Broncos going to get the victory. Miami crushing it on the offensive side of the ball, 42 points going up against our division rival, the Jaguars. That's how they lost. They did get 36 points up on the board there, 28-9. Our other division opponent, the Houston Texans, falling to the Cincinnati Bengals there. 37-31 in an NFC East battle here. The Redskins going to get the victory on the road. And then the Bills going to beat the 49ers 34-29. The San Diego Chargers beating the Panthers 41-20 there. The Jets taking on the Raiders 31-20. The Seahawks taking on division foe in the NFC West, the Rams 38-31. Minnesota, the team we are going up against, 52-17 over the Green Bay Packers. We are going to look at that one in a second. Then the Browns winning 38-34 over the Ravens, and then the Eagles taking on the Cardinals 19-14. We already know what happened here, but let's go look at this game here. 52 points by this Minnesota Vikings here, and Teddy Bridgewater getting it done. 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Phillip Rivers getting the start. Look at the experience of those 2 quarterbacks there. I don't know if Rodgers went down early in the game or if he's declined enough that maybe Phillip Rivers is taken over. We will find out later as we do play the Packers later this season. Jamal Charles, though, a monster game. 23 carries, 151 yards, 6.6 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Now, on the flip side, Eddie Lacy had a good game for the Packers. Hopefully, we can get that kind of game from Rodman Scott, 6.3 yards a carry. They didn't seem to run the ball. They probably fell down in a hole early and spent the rest of the game trying to get themselves out. Theo Riddick had a touchdown, as did Teddy Bridgewater. They just really ate up the Green Bay Packers run defense there. Deshaun Young, we know how good he is. 7 catches, 103 yards. We have a touchdown for Theo Riddick, a touchdown for Julius Lucas. And I could have sworn they threw one more touchdown. Didn't they have 2 passing touchdowns? I think it glitched out. Let's see. Yeah, it must have glitched one out. Rip that. All right, Brock Vereen, 15 tackles there. Sacks, we got 1 for Corey Peters, 1 for Terrence Speed. Half a sack for Butler, Rodriguez, Holland, and Griffin. So the Vikings doing a good job getting pressure on the quarterbacks. A.J. Rodriguez also had an interception, as did Clay Matthews and Harrison Smith. Let's go ahead and check out the Vikings lineup really quick. And then we will check out let's check out the weekly awards first, I guess. Let's just go ahead and take care of that right now. See what we got. Awards, here we go. Jameis Winston, 28 of 41, 316 yards, 4 passing touchdowns for him. Navarro Bowman with 14 tackles, an interception, and a touchdown. Eric Weddle, 12 tackles and an interception. And then Ryan Tannehill, 31 of 44, 429 yards, 3 passing touchdowns for him. Next up, got to check on this Minnesota Vikings roster. Let's see what we are going up against in week 2. We saw how deadly their offense is. Can their defense slow down the Aviators' offense is going to be the question. Minnesota 1 spot above us there. And Teddy Bridgewater leading the way, 89 overall. Colby Phillip going to be the backup at running back. Jamal Charles and Theo Riddick, we saw how good they were. Stanley Havili coming in at fullback for him. At wide receiver, Deshaun Young and Andrew Jordan. This team is beat up by injuries. Wow. Eduardo Jose, a great young player, a great kick returner, one of the best kick returners in the NFL, out. I mean, look at this. There's no way they can go into this game with only 2. They're going to have to sign somebody, right? Jared Cook going to be at tight end. They also have Rashawn James, the second-year pro out of Wisconsin, so they have some more receiving targets if they so choose to play him out of position, a wide receiver for a game, but they're not going to have speed there. Jared Cook a little bit later on in his career now, beginning to lose a step. Very interesting to see that, though. A lot of injuries there. Offensive line-wise, not great. The left side is better than the right side. But it's not awful either. Carlos Dunlap going to be at left end. At right end, Griffin is going to be there. Defensive tackle, we have Sharif Floyd and Frantanzi Smith. So a great duo there. Left outside linebacker, Anthony Barr, 92 overall. He is a threat to make some plays. AJ Rodriguez going to be a right outside linebacker. Another great player for them. And then Darrell Beck. We know how good he is. We scouted him. We really wanted to draft him. It didn't work out for us. And, outside of him, though, not a great secondary. Are they going to be able to contain the Aviators' pass offense is going to be a pretty big question mark going into this game. They do have Harrison Smith here, and opposite him, Robert Blanton. 2 great safeties, so that might help them a little bit in coverage down the field, but you don't want to put those guys one-on-one coverage against Curtis Harden or something like that, I wouldn't say. A lot of injuries. Let's go see who else is injured for them. Because they are going to have to sign somebody. There's no way they don't. I mean, we can't see anybody being signed yet, but I'm thinking. So Chance Jokel's out for 4 more weeks. Tavon Coley out for 3 more weeks for us. If we scroll up, Eduardo Jose and Kenyatta's Belton each out for 5 more weeks and then 1 week there. So he'll be back next week. That's not bad, but they still need to sign somebody. Very interesting situation for them. They still managed to put up 52 points up on the board despite the injuries. So it's still a team that is going to be tough, especially with their run game. But it should be a good battle, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. And I will see you guys in week 2 as we take on the Minnesota Vikings. Later.